Hello everyone, I'm your hostess with the mostest 8-second gaming. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the 3 best legend combos that you're definitely going to be wanting to run this season in order to climb. If you guys really want to hit the ground running in Season 19, you need a legend comp that fits your playstyle, so let's break them down. But just quickly, if you guys are looking to take your Apex skill to the next level, then you need to check out the GameLeap website right now. Over there, we have top level coaches creating the best, most highly informative guides to make you the best player you could possibly be. We have legend guides, gun guides, VOD reviews, and a bunch of bangers planned for Season 19, so click the link in the description, pick yourself up a membership, and start to improve today. But okay, with that out of the way, let's hop into things. And yes, like I mentioned before, we are going to be talking about one for every playstyle. So there's going to be one for Edge, one for Zone, and one for Hybrid. And what better place to start things off than with the Edge comp, because that is the hyper aggressive one. Edge teams typically forego getting placement points in order to get more kill points because they want to fight. So with that in mind, we have to pick a team that is going to like to be in fights. And this is actually where the new legend is going to come into play as well. So for this one, you're going to be wanting to run Bangalore, Revenant, and Conduit. Now, Bangalore did receive a bunch of nerfs going into Season 19, but it actually didn't hit her kit as hard as people think it might have. Yes, every single part of her kit did get touched, but it wasn't enough to really impact her to the point where she is not going to be meta. It's going to stunt her use a little bit, but now better Bangalore players are really going to be able to shine. Her kit is still going to be fairly oppressive, and when you pair her with Conduit, her smokes are going to be super deadly, and we will talk about that when we get to Conduit. But Bangalore on her own is still going to be a fantastic entry fragger. You're going to have to be a little bit more careful now because your smokes don't last as long and your double time doesn't last as long. But as long as you have proper cooldown management and really understand Bangalore's ins and outs, you will still be a very effective entry fragger, opening up opportunities for your team. And speaking of opening up opportunities, that's where Revenant comes into play, and that's why he's our next pick. Because Revenant loves to take advantage of little openings in team fights. Revenant is a hard, aggressive, off-angling secondary fragger. He likes to be off on his own, wait for that moment to pounce, and then literally pounce on people by jumping on them with his tactical. Any small little bit of advantage that your entry fragger can give you, Revenant can take full advantage of and do it with ease because of his ultimate tactical combo. Revenant has so much health when you pair him with his ultimate and a red shield or even a purple shield or even a blue shield. The bare minimum on Revenant can become super scary because on top of that, he also has a free 75 HP shield that he just gets from his ultimate. So that is a ton of health that you're going to have to rip through when a Revenant is running you down after you just got destroyed by the Bangalore being the entry fragger. These two combo extremely well together. They're very aggressive. And what better way to finish this team comp all off than with a very aggressive support that can give you free shields, and that is where Conduit is coming into play. Now, Conduit is the new legend, so a lot of people are going to have a tough time adjusting to her, but trust me guys, she is fantastic. The ability to give your teammates shields at a moment's notice and also get a speed boost to help keep up with them is very strong for team fights. The enemy is going to have to blow so much utility on breaking your Bangalore shields just for her to throw a smoke down, get the cover for you to give her shields back, and then she can just join the fight once again without having barely any downtime. That is very, very oppressive and very hard to counter play. And Conduit's ultimate paired with Bangalore smoke is a very deadly combo because when the enemies are caught inside your ultimate, you're going to be able to see where they are no matter if you have a digi threat or not, because you're going to be getting the damage numbers. If you see the damage numbers pop up, you can see where the enemy is, so you basically just get to have free wall hacks when the smoke is up and your ultimate's up. It's a very good wombo combo. This team is fully designed to get kills and just absolutely run enemies down, so definitely keep this in mind if you are wanting to play Edge. But on the exact opposite of Edge, we have the hard zone teams. Now, these are going to be a little bit more favorable this season once again because of the way that the new rank system is working with the promotional trials. If you want to fast track that, you just have to win a game and then you automatically promote, and playing in zone is going to be a little bit more consistent for that. And seriously guys, consistency is key when it comes to playing zone. And that's why the zone team comp really hasn't fluctuated much over time, but I am going to throw a new one in here because of some of the changes that we received this season. So the zone team comp that I'm recommending is going to be Wraith, Crypto, and Caustic. Now Wraith is just a staple zone pick. She is so strong at playing zone, it's not even funny. Her ability to get her team from point A to point B extremely safely is unmatched, and she did get a slight buff going into Season 19 to make her passive a little bit more reliable, so that's always a bonus point. But once you get Wraith into endgame, she can do what literally no other legend can do, and she does it extremely safely. If your team has been playing a building the entire game because you think that's where the ring's gonna pull and then all of a sudden it just does a U-turn and 180s away from you, then you need a way to get to a new spot and you need a way to do it safely. Most legends don't really have a way to do it as safely as Wraith does, but all Wraith has to do, pop a portal, use a phase if she needs to, and your entire team has been moved with so much ease. There's a reason that Wraith has been played so much over the years, and it's because she's just a strong legend and she fits in the zone comp so well. But next up we have Crypto, and Crypto is a little bit of a weird pick for some people, but trust me guys, hear me out. Crypto is a very strong legend when you get him to do what he wants to do. He wants to play zone, he wants to sit on his Game Boy, he wants to gather information and set your team up for the best possible spot in endgame that he can. And that pairs really well with Wraith because Crypto can go and scout an area if the zone moves without taking any risk. How many times has it happened to you where you think a spot is free, you start to move to it, all of a sudden a team pops out of nowhere, you're caught in the middle of the open and you die. But with Crypto that doesn't happen. And also towards the end game, he is very strong because the circle is very small, his EMP can hit multiple different teams, and then it's just free cleanup kills. And the change that I did mention that does buff Crypto in Season 19 is the changes to the respawning. Crypto can respawn his teammates from a distance, but usually that did mean if somebody was to run up on the respawn beacon, your teammates were just dead. But now you spawn in with weapons, you spawn in with ammo, and you spawn in with the armor that you had before. So you're not just a sitting duck when you get respawned in, so Crypto can do it from a distance and still be perfectly fine if his teammates get in trouble because they have the option to fight. A lot of people didn't really notice the fact that this was a buff to Crypto, but trust me, I noticed, so I'm putting him in this team comp. And to round it all out, you need a strong legend to hold down the area once you actually get there and make sure that nobody's able to siege your building, and that's why I'm putting Caustic. Now, yes, you could put Watts in here, but I am just putting Caustic above Watts and a little bit further because of how Caustic and Crypto's ult combo off of each other. If there's a Watson generator out, a Gibraltar bubble, anything like that, Crypto EMP blows it up and then Caustic's grenade is just able to go off completely. In endgame circles, there's nothing that can really shut down Caustic. And Caustic is able to easily protect Crypto throughout the entirety of the game because Caustic makes buildings incredibly hard to siege. With proper barrel rotation and placement, you can make a building almost impossible to push. Or you can stall teams out to the point where they get third-partied and then the third-party team isn't going to want to push you because they saw exactly what just happened. This team comp can lock down a building, get you to the endgame positions, and get you there safely, so all you need to do is be able to just close it out. So if you're looking to play zone, play this comp. And lastly, we have the hybrid comp, and this is for the people that just want to go with the flow. If they happen to be in zone, they're more than happy to play zone. But if they happen to be on the edge, then they are more than happy to take a fight. With this, you need legends that are able to morph and play around exactly what your team needs, so you need flexible legends. And for this, we're going to go with a little bit of an unorthodox entry fragger, but trust me, it works. So for this, we're going Horizon, Loba, Newcastle. Now, Horizon is the entry fragger in this comp, and it is a little unorthodox. Some people do play her as an entry fragger, but she's typically a secondary fragger, and she does fit that role a little bit better. After the slight nerfs that Horizon did get, she's not as useful in the entry fragger position, but because you're not really primarily a fighting team comp, it doesn't really matter if she has to slot into that role. She still can be highly aggressive, she still can be an entry fragger, and she still can do everything that Horizon wants to do, which can create the opportunities for your team to win fights. Now, Horizon has actually kind of slotted into a fairly balanced position. I think she's actually in a pretty good spot. Her ultimate's still able to solo win team fights. Her gravity lift is still a really strong high ground retake tool. So if you were on the fence about Horizon, she's still a good legend and you can play her here. But in the secondary fragger position, we have Loba. And this might surprise a few people, but yes, Loba has moved out of the support role into the secondary fragger role. And I do know that her in-game class perk is a support, but she doesn't play that role in-game. It's a little bit different, it's too hard to explain here. But with her bracelet, Loba is able to take very aggressive off angles if the time does come to fight. But if your team wants to play zone, then she can just slam down a black market, get you guys gear, get you guys loot, get you guys ammo to continuously poke people to try to get them from taking your building. She is more than comfortable doing anything your team needs to do, and when you're playing hybrid, you need those flexible options. And with that flexibility comes a very strong support to anchor it all together, and that's why I'm bringing in Newcastle. Now, everybody that watches the channel knows that I am a huge fan of Newcastle, so you know we couldn't go one of these videos without talking about him, especially because he did just get buffed in Season 19. They made his already insanely strong ultimate even stronger. I don't really understand why they did that, but I'm happy because I'm a Newcastle fan. But if you guys are looking for a support that can literally carry fights all on his own, Newcastle is the one for you. His passive is insanely strong. It's the best revive that they have in the game. His tactical is probably the weakest part of his kit, but it is still good. The only limit really is your imagination, because you can use it to block bullets, you can use it to block grenades, you can use it as a second shield as you're reviving somebody, you can use it as a distraction tool, you can use it as a way to move a grenade from point A to point B because you can stick things to it. There's a bunch of different plays that the tactical can use, so seriously, the only limit is your imagination. And yes, I did say that his ultimate was insanely strong because it is insanely strong. His ultimate allows Newcastle to do what other supports cannot do, and that is play solo. Usually supports are very easily singled out, so teams try to focus them. But with Newcastle, he can play solo. He can force teams to try and single him out. He can force enemy teams to be out of position to try and take him out, and then he just jumps back to his team, slamming down cover and making it very hard for teams to actually do anything against him because now they're out of position, and hey, you have position because you just slammed down a bunch of cover. And when it comes to endgame, if you want to block off a doorway, you can just slam down your ultimate in front of it. If the ring pulls in a really wonky spot and you don't have anywhere to play, guess what? Newcastle slams down his ultimate, now you have somewhere to play. Newcastle is extremely flexible, and like I mentioned before, if you want to play a hybrid team comp, you need flexibility, so Newcastle slots in perfectly. But let me know your favorite team comp in the comments down below, and if you guys want to stay up to date with the latest and greatest epic legends, tips, tricks, and news, don't forget to smash the like and subscribe button. Thanks so for watching. Once again, made second game, and I'll see you guys in the next one.